Hopefully we are good to go. So as said, we got a number of responses, and the hotspots were United States, Germany, and the United Kingdom. The companies that we surveyed are gradually getting older and older every year. There's the of course you can't have that company, but the trend is that there's more and more older companies, and then there are only a few young ones, and this is partially a bit problematic that we should have more and more new companies joining the business, because otherwise it gets a bit stale that it's the same old people every single time. If we take a look at the company's size and growth, there's single man bands, there's a lot of those. There's surprisingly a lot also companies that are small. The sweet spot seems to be from 11 to 50 people, and then there are a few bigger ones. And what I see problematic is that 1/3 or a bit less, maybe 1/4 of the companies has shown no growth in the past year in headcount. Of course, if you are one person, then adding the second one is a big step. It's like doubling the company, but you should start, because if we don't grow and our competitors are growing, then actually we are shrinking, and it's never good for the business. The company size versus age, you can see that if you see my cursor, that the lot of the companies are here in the sort of mature stage, and it's problematic, I would say, that we have a lot of old companies that are really small. Of course, if you want to run a boutique, then that's okay, but boutiques won't change the world that much. There are a few good ones, that there have been companies that are like 2 years old, 3 years old, and are already grown to almost 200 people. So really good things for those companies. Keep up. And for those that are considering that they should grow, then my opinion, advice always that you should grow, because if you don't grow, the business goes easily stale, and then somebody else takes your business, then you find out that you have no business. If we take a look at the deals, these are the top 10 industries. Education, that was missing in 2018 survey. We added there, and it went to top immediately. So this means that 66% of the companies that responded are working with education. And then there's charities and non-profit, government, public administration, healthcare, arts and culture, banking, insurances, travel, media, industry, consultancy. And if we take a look at the four top 10 industries are somewhat problematic, that the charities and non-profits and government and public administration typically have small budgets. Not all government stuff that can have huge budgets, but they have long contracts and they focus on price. So they sort of create a baseline where you can have a good business, but the private sector has way more potential for a bigger hourly prices and so forth. Arts and culture is typically very small budgets, unless you go to Hollywood or some others, but I would guess that would be some other industry. And then the consultancy has shrunk from 2018, and I would say that working with consultancies would be a really, really good. On the other side, banking and insurance is more and more people are working there. They have a lot of money. Industry is always good, that if you manufacture something and then you do digital, then the digital cost, even if it's typically a fraction of the industrial cost, but it's still huge, because a lot of industrial companies are very, very big giants. So that's also a very good place to be. Bit of an eye test here, but this shows all the industries in the order of interest on the order of the clients of our agencies, 2019, and there is clothing and fashion, marketing, advertising, and media that have been going steadily down from year to year. For the marketing and advertising and media, that's understandable because the budgets are shrinking there. Clothing and fashion is something that I would rather see people serving more, because there are huge companies there that would benefit from Drupal. Industry is growing, and banking and insurance is growing, and that's really good that we go where the money is. But all in all, Drupal agencies tend to serve too much public, non-profit, NGO kind of industries instead of those ones that have the money. And this is not that you should sell your values and go for the money. That's not my point. My point is that if you have your values and then you can make good business in the area where there's a lot of money to be made, your company grows bigger, and then your values will affect more and more of the people. So never underestimate the good clients, even if they are in some area that doesn't feel sort of right to you, because it might be a really good way also to change the world, not just to get a good amount of return of investment for your own company. Drupal project pipeline, small. It has been growing for the most of the companies, and that's really good to see that the trend is positive. Of course, the coronavirus will change that. We'll come to later. So this is pre-coronavirus information, of course. Average deal size, the same thing, that it has grown for the most of the companies. Almost 60% of the companies have grown the average deal size, and this is crucial for the growth, because at the end, the amount of sales work you need to do for a bigger or smaller case is approximately the same. Of course, if you sell to your friends and small companies, it's way easier than to sell to enterprises. That's sure. But if you have same kind of companies and one have a 100K deal and then the other one has a 500K deal, then probably the sales effort is approximately the same on both of these. So try to grow the deal sizes. Pipeline expectations were that 60% see that they will grow, and only 11% thought that they will shrink. So again, really good position to be in on the market. Then, if we take a look at that, what the companies thought, that what are the reasons to select Drupal? There is the open source. They have used Drupal before. Our recommendation, flexibility, suitability for the business requirements, reputation, security, reliability, low cost performance, and the user friendliness. That is the rock bottom that nobody chooses, or almost nobody. I would like to meet those people that say that yes, we selected Drupal because of user friendliness. But so far I haven't seen. But if you know somebody, then please introduce me to them, because I would like to interview them, that how they see it. But the good things for the agencies are that the agency recommendation is the number 3, and that means that the clients have trust on the agency, and that's extremely crucial. Flexibility and reliability are also, and reliability has grown really a lot compared to 2018. It shows that the platform is getting more and more mature, and that there are no sort of hiccups that would convince people to go somewhere else, that the baseline again is good. As said, the user friendliness, it's something that Reese has been talking a lot, and I'm glad to see that there's things are moving forward. It was sad that the admin user interface changes did not land with Drupal 9. Hopefully they land sooner than later. We all rely a lot on that. And then the other one is sort of, this is a bit positive and a bit negative, that they have used Drupal before. it's really good that the platform has traction, that people are not actively hating using Drupal. But again, that if it's the top 2 of the reasons, it means that we are having a discussion with the same people, that the market is not growing for us, that we don't reach out people that have not used Drupal that much. And this is something that should also change, and that changes with marketing and sales, those 2 things. The usual sales process in Drupal companies seems to be that everybody waits aggressively, that the phone rings. When it rings, then you pick it up, and then the customer tells what they want, and then you try to figure out how to serve them, instead of proactively making the market. And that shows in that the more than 60% of the companies feel that the reason for choosing Drupal is that the clients have used it before. If we take a look at a bit different angle, we also ask about the contributions, what the companies are, that the Drupal is giving a lot to the companies. What are companies giving back to the community? And it's a big area, that what kind of things gets contributed. 4% of the companies, meaning 5 or 6 companies, don't contribute, but everybody else has been contributing different things. Somebody has doing design and usability, really good thing, because that is really needed. A lot of development, documentation, donations, marketing, organizing events, sponsoring events. So a lot of this area, a lot of using non-technical people or using money to work for Drupal. And this is area where, for example, the contribution credits don't really well take that into account. That if there's an event, yes, then the people get the contribution credits for participating in that event, if the organizers so organize that there's possibility to do it. But other than that, if you participate in expos, if you do marketing campaigns, none of those is reflected back to the community credits. And this is something, if I'm wrong, then please correct me, because I would like to be wrong in this one. But I see that it's still tilted to development and tilted in a work that revolves around Drupal.org. Either the code hosted there or the events hosted there. And we should be everywhere else and Drupal.org, because the clients are not in Drupal.org, or if they are there, they already know a lot, and you don't need to preach to the choir. But instead, we should meet the people that don't know Drupal well, or they have used past in Drupal 2 or 3 or 4, and not since, because a lot of has changed. Then we asked a lot of that why people contribute, what are the reasons, and there was I think that the giving back was one of the biggest reasons, that Drupal has been kind to us. So we need to be kind to Drupal, and the people understood that without contribution there would be no Drupal. But it's also, this is important, that the people in the company want to contribute. So enabling that somehow makes you. Giving back to the community was mentioned 19 times. So 1/6 of the people mentioned that exactly with these words, give back to the community, or giving back to the community. Okay, then a few other things on the survey. So besides contributions, we also asked people to provide their greatest successes and challenges, and also the open comments that I'll explain now, and then we go to the coronavirus. So the greatest successes, we got a lot of these successes, and we selected the I would say maybe the best ones, at least the most representable, and those that were sort of tangible and universal. So somebody has been able to provide Drupal-based solutions for Fortune 500 companies. This is really great because those are the big guys. More sales and profit than ever before. Big contracts increase our rates. Always good that if you can increase your rates, of course, without losing your customers, that just increasing rate is not always enough. Strong client relationship based on positive solution results. Increased average customer value, excellent. Fast growth. 2 big client wins. Profitability targets for the first time. Splash Awards win. Growing to twice the size. A lot of good stuff. And then the greatest challenges for the past year was recruiting staff. This was mentioned several times. We asked about the staff recruiting, but I decided to cut it from this presentation because we need to go through the coronavirus situation also. But the bottom line of recruiting was that it's really, really hard, and you can't find Drupal talent. And the technology in Drupal is outdated and does not help you to recruit people. Those are maybe the top 3 or top of my head. Brexit has been challenging for a UK company. Somebody has been troubles with landing Drupal 8 work. Maintaining balance between sales and recruitment. I would say that that problem never goes away. You just need to have a good enough pipeline that you can foresee things and forecast things, not maybe foresee, but forecast things, and then have enough cash balances that you can take risks with recruitment, that if some gig doesn't land, then you are not out of luck and need to get rid of the people. Drupal's traction on the market has declined. Somebody is sort of going. Most of the companies are swimming upstream, bigger deals, bigger cases, so forth. And this company is going other way on the downstream, that the deal size and the number of projects have gone down. You need to do something in that kind of situation. Whether the market is melting below you, or whether you are having troubles with your staff or with your competitors or whatever, but at the end, this is a time that you need to react. Unpredictability of demand, quality of manpower, both are solvable problems. The demand unpredictability is about building the sales pipeline, that you understand and see what's going on, and you can make estimations. Really good sales director for bigger companies and good sales guy for smaller companies that knows the tricks and knows how to estimate, knows how to forecast, and has that kind of hunch that he knows that, okay, this amount of money I'm going to get out of these prospects or this pipeline, helps you a lot with the unpredictability of demand. If your demand is unpredictable, it also means that you are not doing enough on sales and marketing front. Accenture and the other huge players entering the market, this validates that the market is right. It also means for the smaller companies that you might be crushed by the elephants. Somebody has lost their biggest client, and that's always a sad situation. That's always terrifying, and that probably has happened more with the coronavirus. We'll come back to that. And the greatest challenge for the same company that the greatest achievement was growing 2 times is also the biggest challenge, and I can completely understand that. A few open comments from the survey. From the business model side, we got plenty of comments, and we have really selected the top of the top for these ones that we could spend like 2 hours going through the comments. There were so good ones there that this was really hard job to make the selection. But the Drupal is becoming a powerful platform for the large enterprises, and this means that the smaller agencies, it's harder to gather this growth, and this is understandable. In some markets, the big companies are afraid of talking with or engaging with smaller vendors, because they are not sure whether they can actually handle the burden that they will provide, despite the money being good and so forth. But they have also demands and the others that might be really hard for a small company to deliver on time and on quality and so forth. Teaming up with other companies, maybe merger and acquisitions, help on those ones. Many public sector cases for Drupal 8, and then the people or the company that company has formed a special team to participate on those contracts. Really good move. I think that if you're agile, then you actually can make a swift changes. Most of the companies are small, and you can work around the obstacles. Then there's this we saw a few times, that the Drupal 8 was not a good choice for most of my current clients. And this shows that you and your clients are not growing together with Drupal, but you are serving a market that will be gradually served by WordPress and then the software as a service platforms. So it is something that it means at the end, if I'm brutally blunt, and I'm a Finnish guy, so I'm honest to the bluntness, let's put this way. It means that you are in the wrong market, and if you are not going up with Drupal to the bigger clients, then it's a wrong technology for you. I understand that if you have been growing with that technology, spent a lot of time and blood and tears and whatever sweat on the community and the platform, it's sad to see that go somewhere else and you want to go. But that's life, that's business, and you need to make your choice. Go to WordPress, go to Wix, or try to grow bigger clientele or bigger size clients, I would say. The middle is disappearing, go big or go home. This is exactly the same thing. And then the technology skills are still important, even if the technology is becoming more of a commodity. It's still a critical factor. And this was the comment of the year, that you need to go big with Drupal, otherwise you won't have big business at the end. You will have a tolerable business, and then later miserable business, and then no business if you don't start to grow with Drupal. Decoupled solutions, this was mentioned in Dree's note. More and more the requirements. Node.js, React.js, always discussed. This was also in the also like the last comment here, that the jQuery structure, the front-end people are not willing to work with jQuery anymore. They feel it's outdated. We actually lost one case when we said that this was probably simplest to implement in jQuery, and said that okay, the client that was technology company also told me that the 2010 called you and asked to get their stuff back. So it would have been probably 3 times more expensive with React, but that what the client actually wanted, because it's hip and cool. And my assumption is that the React will be the next Java that kind of legacy stuff that is everywhere and there is, that you can make a living until you go to pension by fixing legacy React application in the future. But back to Drupal, again, the larger projects, you are too small. The middle comment, go big or go home. I can't really help you there. Architecture perspective freedom, it's this is crucial. I would say that this is really, really important, that the clients want to have things happen, and they have been bound to a number of platforms, and they have learned the hard way that the big corporations, Microsoft's, Adobe's, Oracle's, they want to tie them with their processes, their ways of working. And it's not optimal because every business is different. And then the architectural freedom is crucial. And Drupal can deliver that if we make it as one of the key messages. We could use that as that to make sure that people understand that Drupal is flexible, as stated in a few slides back, and it allows the architecture freedom. But then you need to have senior level architects that can actually talk with the senior level architects on the other side, on the client side, and go through the demands, because PHP has a reputation of a toy language, and that's something that you need to come over that obstacle too. Sales side, large organization, enterprises, Drupal project at scale, that they consolidate to one platform. There has been a lot of companies mentioned in Dries notes and the others that have been replacing hundreds or thousands of sites with Drupal. But it's still for the CMS, and CMS is just the surface. The way bigger money lies beyond those things. What are because the CMS is the gate for end user to enter the company. They always come through their website. How relationship that we start to work more on the e-commerce, we start to work more on the application side, because Drupal has those capabilities. Not everything is top-notch, but it has those capabilities, and it has, I would say, a reputation of reliability and the security that we can build the story on. Competition has been bigger, and they market themselves better. This is always, you should always remember that the best technology never wins. The best people never win. It's always the best marketers that win. Oracle has never provided the best of breed software. It's good. The Oracle software has been always good. I don't say that, but they have had excellent marketing. And that's why how they have won a number of things, and the other guys could have been way better from technology perspective, but they have lost because of Oracle's marketing. So if you can't present yourself better than your competition that is average, please get a good marketing and salespeople that can present you better. Because if you get the presentation right and you are better in technology, then you will win. You will win the competitors every single time. And adding that person, finding a good person, it's hard to find a good person that understands enough of the technology while being a good marketer. But those people do exist. I have one on my team. I don't tell her name to you because I want to keep her on my team, but it's crucial to present your company as the winner. Then there's the functionality compete with Adobe and Sitecore, B2B and e-commerce positions, and so forth. There's the Drupal story in my own thinking is tilted too much on the experiences, and that's about the content and how to deliver content and experience through the content, and that is not where the money is made. The money is made somewhere else, and that's typically where the end user interact and transact with the company, not when they read the content, when they have the experiences. And I think that we should focus more on the transactional part, because Drupal is transactional engine besides being a content engine. And that's something that is missing from, for example, Sitecore. They just don't have a good story for that. So you need to find the strengths of the platform to talk to your clients. That if you just position yourself against Sitecore and Adobe on clients' terms, then the chances are that you are going to lose, because Sitecore and Adobe has fed the client the terms and the ideas, and you as a smaller guy haven't, most probably. So again, more proactiveness there. So this survey data was from 2019. And since then, we all know that the situation has changed a bit, and in some areas a lot. And this has had effects on Drupal companies. So we made 2 other surveys, quite short notice on this year. One on the end of March and beginning of April, we got 50 responses. And then there's a currently running one. I opened it on Tuesday and now got 32 responses this morning when I made these slides. So if you are able to send your own opinions, then please leave your input to the second survey. It will be open for a while. And then I'll show the major findings from these surveys. This is something that has not been discussed ever before in public. We had, for the March, we had a webinar to go through the results, but the July results, of course, if they were analyzed this morning, they are brand spanking new. So a few questions that how the business has changed in general to the epidemic. This is the April figure, and this is the July figure. Here's the key. So in April, people were thinking that almost half of the people were thinking that it will weaken or has already weakened significantly. There were companies that had lost not only their clients that went in bankrupt, but they have lost also the last month's invoicing. So they have invoiced the clients, didn't pay the invoices yet, then happened the coronavirus, the client went to bankruptcy and couldn't pay. So you lose like the past month, current month, and the upcoming months in a single blow. And that's really, really harsh. So when we compare these 2 figures together, you can see that then it was like 10% or less that say that it has grown, and now it's 25. So we are going the right direction as a business community. And the project situation has had, I would say, even a bit better situation. Not maybe the change is the same around that, and then the weekend significantly has dropped from both of these answers. So it's less severe and it affects less companies, but it's still severe. The revenue impact of the epidemic was back then that there was the weight was more on the red side, that there was some companies that thought that we are okay, maybe 1/4 of the companies. But now those that have actually had a +10 revenue impact, there's way more than earlier time. There was a good comment from Dave in the chat that the most several hit businesses might be around anymore, and that's true. But back then, there were a few of those, and what I saw from the figures that some of them are still in business. But yes, that is one way to go. But I haven't heard any bigger closures of Drupal agencies. If you have, then please post in the chat that we all know. But for me, it feels that after the initial shock, we have recovered as a business community. I didn't have time to analyze that whether there is a difference between the continents, because in the last analysis in March or April, Europe was seeing things way more positive than the States, and then it was time that the States didn't have the outbreak yet. New York happened after that survey. So it would be interesting that I'll probably check those, and maybe we do a separate webinar later in August or something like that about these new results. No promises yet, because still everybody needs to focus on their own businesses on these times. But if we have time, I and Michelle might do something. But these numbers are more positive than I expected. So I'm truly glad about the situation. And then if we take a look at the sales pipeline, there was like 2/3 of people were saying that the sales pipeline has gone worse and weakened significantly. And now people report back that they have got alternative sources of income. They have got different ways and the new kind of clients, and they have been doing a bit different kind of stuff for the current clients, and the current clients have been accelerated their investments and so forth, or government grants, whatever. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but this is really heartwarming that we have been able, as a business community, reduce the amount of the weakening of the pipeline. Prospecting is still challenging. It's still to be said that the prospecting has not changed that much. It's more positive than it used to be, but it's not easy, and there's still certain areas or certain companies that have a lot of troubles with the sales prospecting. So this is something that you need to spend a lot of time these days, to make sure that you can actually have the pipeline in proper order. The cash flow, it's expected that it will weaken. Of the about sales, you sell to the current clients, you don't survive without cash. That if you don't get cash in, then you are bankruptcy in really short time, surprisingly short time, even if you have projects ongoing and your sales is doing good. But if you don't get the cash in, the clients are not paying or something like that, then you are in deep troubles very, very quickly. And this is good that we see that it has changed so tremendously. And then we also, the last question that what we asked for the company was that what is the probable outcome? And in April, it was like almost 2/3 say that we will survive, but we will get dents. And now it's like, and then 1/3 say that we will do fine. Now it's like the opposite. That the majority of the Drupal companies are thinking that they will do fine, and then a minority will think that they will get dense. And then there was the one company that decided that they will they will liquidify themselves because of they were being in a risk group and these kind of things. And that was a brave decision. I'm not sure whether that's the same company in July version, but I'll see that later. Because that means that they haven't yet liquidified themselves, and that's also good news. So general feedback, there was slowdown already happening before the coronavirus, and now there's a lot of money being pumped on the markets. So, and a lot of that money is going to be invested in digital, because a lot of our clients have found out that if this kind of thing hits the fan, then they need to have digital solutions. The last one is really crucial, that we as a business leaders, we need to support each other, because this is really lonely job to be at the top of the company. It's very, very lonely, so we need to rely on each others. A few recommendations to close the session. The middle is disappearing, go big or go home. The small end have been gone for years. Now the middle one is disappearing too. You need to rebuild your company for the enterprise and or disruptors. So you need to find the areas where you can grow. Invest in sales and marketing. That's what we always said. For the coronavirus, always plan for the future. Whether it's good or bad, whether you see the future bleak or bright, you are always better off when you have prepared for it. You have to make scenarios or these kind of things. And digital services the need for the digital service will surge after the coronavirus. So stay alive and reap the benefits. And then we always end these with the small fable. And this was 2019 fable, but it's still very, very, very timely. So you can think your company as a hare that is protected by their agility, that they can go to different directions really quickly, or a tortoise that is protected by their shells. Both are good ways. But when we start to cross the chasm from the early adopters to the enterprise, or we cross the chasm of coronavirus, that things didn't go as we planned, then the agility is our friend. Being protected by doing things same way as always, and protected by that we just protect ourselves, you are not going to go anywhere. So whether you are going to be a hare or a tortoise, that's your decision, but I strongly suggest that you consider being a hare and be agile. So that's it. That's what I got. If you have any questions, then chat is your friend. Also, the evaluation link is top of the chat. I would be pretty pleased to get evaluation from all of you. Thank you. There was in chat. There was from Aaron. Hello, if you are there. That you don't get better tech salespeople, you create them. That's a good way to say it. Of course, if you can recruit somebody that is good from the start, and then you help them to understand Drupal, it's the journey to have a good tech salespeople is shorter. That the experience counts, even if it comes from a bit different technology. And then Piyush was asking the maintaining a balance between sales and recruitment, some proven solutions. This is hard. We haven't cracked it right at Exov yet. We have been doing that for 14 years or something like that, and it's still not right. The problem is to find the right indications or the signals that when to recruit. We have learned that how long does it take to recruit, and we have been having a constant recruiting, that we have been talking with people and we are always recruiting, even if we are not hiring. And then we have a pool of people that we can come back to if needed, that have shown interest to us. The other side of this one is that if you can reduce your hiring needs by reducing the staff's churn, then you are way better off immediately, because then you don't need to hire for replacements, that you can hire only for growth. It's not that simple to just keep the people, and sometimes you need to get rid of some people that are not performing well. And then Stella asked that, will there be another presentation of the results of the latest show when it closes? That is a good question. I don't know yet. Hopefully there will be, and we will inform that in the Drupal Slack. There's a CEO channel and there's business channel. I'm using both of them to inform. And then there's a Drupal CEO Slack community that if you want to join, then send me a mail. I'll get you an invite. And then there's a Drupal CFO, CEO, CTO, or something like that group in LinkedIn that Michelle is moderating. So join there. There's like a few hundred people in the group. So those are the places where we will tell about these things. I would love to see a presentation, but on the other hand, or session about this, webinar about this, but on the other hand, my autumn looks already pretty tight, and no promises. Any other questions? If not, then once again, thank you for joining me in the session, and hopefully there was some value nuggets from the data that we have been gathering, and I'm more than happy to continue discussions in Slack. You can find me in Drupal Slack, and then we can have a chat, and I do hope that we meet face to face sometime in the Drupal CEO dinner, hopefully in Barcelona, but you never know. If that's all, then I wish you all a very good rest of the DrupalCon Global and rest of the summer. Bye for now.